Hi, I'm gonna do this in try to do this in English. I just had a blasting, super awesome conversation that really caught fire with my cousin, and where we ended, um, the topic we were trying to mm, argumentatively talk about was Bitcoin. Mm, it started out there. That was mainly the thing we were talking about, and we at certain point we talked about we shifted the topic to cryptocurrency, and again it ended up by me realizing that his um or that my right dominated hemisphere is coming in the way of me understanding his more rigorous and his words rigid way of perceiving the world and the structures and how it's all based on, and his words, predetermined ideas about how things are at the moment. And him admitting or just basically knowing that fact about himself, at that moment I think it all made sense to me why I experienced this conversation, as because I know this man and I trust him, um and yeah, all of the things. Um when he kind of when I sensed that in him, and the sensing into that, what was going on between us was also when I realized that, like, what is coming in the way of us not meeting at different points here. And of course, this other conversation I had with Artem Sen about his coaching business, because he has the same kind of tracking ability into details and logicness that speaks to the left hemisphere. I ended up realizing the same realization in and ended up the conversation about like realizing how dominated I am, um, um, of my right hemisphere. So I'm just, of course, I'm also having this as that's been on my to read list for a long time. Now I'm starting to see that this is actualizing itself in real time, and it's speaking so loudly to me right now. And I think, what I'm also, this is a huge topic to dive into, but I want to name qualities like realizing this is like, and in this realization is it right now like it's telling the whole story. And I haven't read it book yet, Master and his emissary. But I think for me personally, I want to take that part first. It's hugely um, rewarding to see and not making myself wrong, because I function in depth, obviously, and I also have an ability to make gestalting, or I can gestalt the wholeness of a situation quite efficiently. Of course, um, that's sounds like bragging, but I think maybe it is bragging. But I guess I'm not. I'm biased to my own take of reality. To reference John Vervaeke, there's no such thing as not biased. And I think I just wanted to share this because there's so much value in realizing the difference with your adversary in a conversation. And I think I can feel the kind of training, his rigorous logic, predetermined um, take on things is training me, my left hemisphere, to 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 both appreciate that quality in others, and also how deeply uh, mm, what am I trying to say? How deeply stimulating this is for me, like energy wise, because I'm really trying to figure out what what's going on um, between and in the space and the topic and all. So, and because he's always pushing me towards trying to see the logic of his logic, it's kind of feels like I've been in a deeply exercising my attempt to grasp his logic that constantly failing at, constantly failing and not listening, and not because my mind is not working like that. And when the pace increases between us, and it's very floating, I get into this flow state. I think we both did. Um, I'm taking ownership of my experience. So yeah, I had a point there, but I dropped it. It's just how amazing wouldn't it be talking about the technology that was our most of the conversation, the topic of our conversation, and how great wouldn't it be if every person on the planet had access to this kind of technology? I think it's just an amazing abundance of reciprocally opening dialogue that can happen. And if that was accessed, I think it would. I'm seeing like kind of projecting this into the future somewhere, or I think the world will be a beautiful, opened field of possibility. It's my experience of and the state I'm in that's speaking from that conversation, I think so much more would be possible between our differences, and it I think it would be flourishing of deep knowledge, because of course an embodied in a deeply embodied way our hemisphere is constantly toggling between, if I can use Verveki's notions of emanation and emergence. I've, in this perspective, I think that kind of flourishing would be possible in a dialogue that would bring us more understanding about our limitations, and also appreciating the differences between us in our preferences or how we show up in the world and our way of being. I also wanted to extend so much appreciation for you, Kim, when you said, I really landed deep in my heart when you said, yeah, we need people like you. And I also said, like, because you can think out of the box, referencing Verveki's picture of the 9 dots and that thing. It's like showing up as I'm speaking now. Where was I going with this? Yeah, I want to extend so much appreciation for you, specifically, Kim, for who you are and how you show up and how authentic and how you're really standing firm in your knowledge and in your perspectives, and also so much appreciation for you acknowledging that we need people like you. And I said directly to him, oh, this lands directly into my heart, and I noticed my my need for acknowledgement and being seen and heard was like, ooh, was celebrating this, because I sensed that straight landed straight in my heart. And that sensing into straight into my heart also, of course, speaks to the sensibility of my dominating right hemisphere. And that brings the whole thing complete. And it's so beautiful to be able to, I feel there's a sense of, like, what is it? I'm gonna slow myself down and I'm gonna, yeah, there we go. It's a sense of wholeness that I can sense into in myself now, and it's a kind of in that wholeness is also a quality of feeling complete and feeling the sense, like, what is meaning in this state I'm in. I feel like if I would, I'm gonna paint a picture of the value for me, my experience in the state I'm in is, if I were to die right now, my life would be complete. And this is a snapshot of the state I'm in, saying that, and I, yeah, I'm really I really wanted to capture this, and I hope um am I hope I'm making this, or languaging it, and doing it justice, this experience. And yeah, so I think it's really, this has happened to me twice now, that I'm conscious of. Probably happened most of my life. I think that's true. Of course, it's true, but unconsciously, it's been happening with my meeting with the culture, different persons in my life, blah blah blah. But now I can see what's happening and why it's happening, and that's just so fucking amazing for me to realize how I'm realizing what's going on right now, and I can kind of see it unfold, and also appreciate the the how the perspective can be shifted. And yeah, in this wholeness, I experience a deep sense of peace too underneath my excitement. And I want to use different words, that I'm not gonna do, but because they're tainted, colored too much and overused. So I hope you will hear how meaningful this experience and previous experiences, when I'm realizing what's going on between, that's underlaying the whole conversation, and making it adversarial also for me. um, and I also realizing that I can, like, I can start my lack of knowledge about the field, like, this topic of crypto and stuff, makes me go to, okay, I'm gonna, let's, like, my want, yeah, that's helpful for me to name. My want in that conversation is that we can go drop down, deep dive into the phenomenon itself and look at different aspects. And of course, that the adversarial mode, most of the conversation as I experienced it, it was because of the rigorousness on logic that makes me want to go deeper. And because of the lack of the logicness and the information and propositions, I want to drop into the phenomenology of the phenomenon we're discussing. And I that's, so how can I prevent that? It's my question to myself now. Okay, this is helpful, and this is actually also what has happened. I have to slow myself down enough and really request that the other person can break the logic down, so I can get the logic behind the words into small bites that I can chew on, and then then allow my holistic or my gestalt ability to to see or sense into that logic that's proposed by the opponent. Yeah. And then brings me back to my lack of knowledge into what I'm talking about. And I think this book will shine a lot of lights on what I'm talking about. So after having two amazing, for me personally, experiences about how we function as a culture, and um, or the differences between us and all that, that speaks to possibility for equality. That's what I wanted to say earlier. A lot of aspects around this, but where was I? Yeah, so speaking to what I'm speaking about this, that's why I'm giggling, because my tracking ability is, yeah, enough. But yeah, this is gonna shine lights about what I'm talking about, what I'm trying to convey in my self-talk. Whew. Yeah, I'm hearing that it's raining on my roof in my van. I feel very motivated, deeply motivated to digest this book from Ian McGilchrist. Take my time to really. I think it's gonna really train my left hemisphere. I think that's also what's always going on, and why I come back to books as such, because it's so stimulating for my yeah, it's stimulating, and it's training my mind up to realize more stuff. Yeah, I can, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it there. I'm just super excited and motivated by diving into Ian McGilchrist's The Master and His Emissary, The Divided Brain, and The Making of the Western World. Wow, what a title. The Making of the Western World. From cognitive brain science, or whatever it is, understanding. And if you have endured this ranting that I've been on for almost 25 minutes, actually, you're probably a person I would really love to deep dive with, and to talk with and discuss concepts and feelings and world perspectives, and if you find some of this interesting, I would love for you to reach out, so we can so you can train me if you're one of the leftists, so to speak, hemisphere people. Please feel free to get in touch, so you can train me in my lack of logicness. Maybe I can shine some light for you on some what's going on in the moment, more like from a different perspective. One of my cups of tea is definitely phenomenology and Gestalt theory, or experience, and going to the approaching a conversation or a topic from a more under like approaching it with a like it's probably not the right word, from a more like a wondering sense of that we have no idea. Let us pretend that we have no idea what we're actually talking about, and just for a minute, or for some couple of minutes, pretend that we have no information about what we're talking about, and let's look at the phenomenology of the phenomenon that we are trying to investigate and to wonder about. What is this thing that's showing up, and what are the implications of different aspects of the thing we're trying to wonder about? If we're into wondering, or the other side, the propositional, yeah, just reach out and let's have a real talk. I wish you a happy Easter. I feel resurrected in a good way, and enlivened, and much love to you, Kim, that that we could have this cup of coffee, this to be continued. Mwah!